So today I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour of my MK14 and the various bits that are plugged onto it. So we start with the keyboard overlay. So it's a 3D printed overlay with a laminated membrane, and that gives it quite a nice springy feel, quite easy to use. Next on there is the tape and RAM interface module. So this is the analog tape interface, and also some expansion RAM, 1.5K of expansion RAM, although that's not actually fitted at the moment. Next we have an Adafruit sound module, and below that you can see the INS8154 I/O chip, which is being hosted on a little breadboard. We'll come on to what that's all about. And then at the rear you see the RealView video interface module, or VDU module, and that also hosts a separate character generator. And then last but not least, we've got an ESP32, which is acting as a web server, and that allows me to download programs from the PC direct into the MK14. So let's look at the detail. So here's the tape interface module. You can see that the processor is plugged into it. The RAM expansion is unpopulated at the moment, and then you've got the analog tape interface section at the top, which is just the standard slow interface as used on the original MK14. On the side there we've got a socket to plug in the web server, and on the bottom left there you see a switch which will select between the analog or the web server interface, and this module plugs in via a header into the 8060 socket on the MK14. So next on to the audio module. So this is the Adafruit sound module. It has a number of triggers which are connected to the 8154 I/O chip, and all those jumpers allow me to either connect or isolate those triggers from the chip. You can see there the 8154 is just hosted on the module, and on the rear we have a header which then just plugs directly into the 8154 socket on the main board, and that's a stereo audio out. So next up we have RealView, which is a replacement for the Science of Cambridge VDU module. Just plugs onto the rear of the MK14. It's in two parts, so there's the main video function and then there's a character generator. Also on this card we have an EEPROM, which is being used to host utilities, but also currently the operating system, and that also includes a fast loader for the web server. On the left there we have a bunch of configuration dip switches, and this also connects to the 8154 I/O chip, and this is the character generator, which is a character generator PROM and a CPLD. And that has composite video output on the far right. So you can see there that the EEPROM is sitting on top of another device, and that's actually a RAM chip under there, which gives me 3K of expansion RAM on the board, so used for graphics and applications. So here's the ESP32, which has been configured as a web server. The majority of this work has been done by CourseNAS2 on the Vintage Radio forums, and it provides high speed at around 2.5 kilobits per second of data transfer into the MK14. So a file that would normally take 4 to 5 minutes to load will now load in about 7 or 8 seconds. So there's the collection of bits, and I'll just add them all back onto the MK14. So the tape interface is now in place, the Adafruit sound module, RealView back on the rear, and the web server all connected. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that interesting.